Hey everyone, welcome to Conversations with Miss T, and that is me. I had a conversation with Bethuel, Themba, Mbebe. Bethuel is a model, a philanthropist, a co-author of the book titled Chronicles of a Broken Man, and also a co-founder of Bethany Books. We had a wonderful conversation together, and he's also a fan of the Amhara. Shout out to all the fans of the Amhara, and guys, I really appreciate the support. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope that you will enjoy this.
I'm quite involved in a number of projects. Um, I'm part of. I'm a model. Hence, like
Nice.
Mr. Mpumalanga was now part of Mr. South Africa, of which I couldn't make it to the top 10, but my journey ended up on top 20. So
Nice.
normally when I'm project that I normally do, it's doing modeling. I'm also a photographer. Sorry about that. A photographer. So I do photograph from time to time. Like tomorrow, I'm having some photography session with the face of Malane with some models. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Okay.
normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now what do you do?
I did not expect that question. Sorry. I'm a teacher now, a podcaster, and an
Oh,
author. What else do I do?
oh,
I teach a dance class once a week, which is really interesting for me because um, I'm not really skilled, but if I work hard and I do it right, so I've had to like work really hard
mhm.
to get my dance moves right, get comfortable and stuff like that. So I'm really outside of
What,
my comfort zone, even with the writing, even
so
with the
what,
talking in front of
mm,
people.
so
Yeah,
what do
yeah.
where do we get those? Where do we get to see those dance moves?
I'm not gonna announce that. I'm not gonna
We
announce
want to
that.
see them like,
No,
okay.
no, 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 no. For certain people's eyes only, and that is my students. Let's just stick to that.
So I assume that you are in China now. Like, tell
Um,
me, how did you get into China?
so what happens is you arrive at the airport, Tambo, you check in. You check in, you drop off your luggage. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Then
Uh,
boom, gone.
yeah, you get on the plane, then boom, wake up. So I'm in Taiwan. They
Then
actually
China.
refrain from calling it China because they don't want to be associated with China. Um, yeah, so I
Okay.
came here because I got a teaching job and I took it and I wanted to travel. I've always been encouraged, particularly by my dad, that I should travel, explore the world and stuff. So I did that. I had the opportunity to do that. When I arrived here, it was difficult the first 6 months or so. And then after that, I just kind of fell in love with
Okay.
the place. I fell in love with the job. So it's been quite amazing since then. I come back home once or twice a year. It used to be twice a year, but now it's not. It's very expensive. So now it's like once a year. So
Mm,
I would come back home and
once
connect
a
with
week.
my people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what
Okay.
I do.
So do you have other South Africans? Do you have any other South Africans there that you mingle with, get to engage with? Oh, it's just you there.
Oh no, there's plenty of us here. There's plenty of South Africans.
Is
It
it?
is, yeah, it's quite interesting. Like the places that I've traveled, I've kind of met like a number of South Africans, which is very interesting. For example, when I travel back home, like if I transfer in Dubai, I meet South Africans there. If I transfer in Hong Kong, I meet a
Mm,
lot of South Africans there. In Singapore, a lot of South Africans. So it's
okay.
been very, very interesting for me.
Oh,
That experience because when I started traveling, I was just like, oh, it's probably going to be me and a few people. But then you realize that there's plenty of people who've been traveling for a very long time. You are just entering the game right now. So I'm really happy about that.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
And
So
and
like,
yeah.
so you didn't have this anxiety like, like I like traveling, you
Yeah.
know, but if I have to travel, let's say outside South Africa, like, you get a bit scared. You understand?
Yeah.
So didn't you have that anxiety that now I'm traveling, I'm going to China, you know? And we hear a lot of myth or from social media, we hear a lot of stuff that South Africans or black people in particular, they're not really loved by the Chinese guys, people there. Are those things real?
I
I'm like, I
mean,
wish to go to China, but when I think about those things, I'm like, oh no.
yes, yes, in some instances, but I mean, South Africans are not loved by South Africans, you know. Do you get what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yeah,
hatred is
yeah,
everywhere and love is also everywhere. It just depends on certain individuals. Yeah, I've heard of cases as well, but for me, those cases are not as
mm,
worse as what we as South Africans, particularly Black South Africans, do to other like xenophobic attacks. I mean, that is just so
yeah.
brutal, you know. So yes, I've heard of like racial discrimination and I've heard of people that have experienced them, but that's nothing compared to what we have done to our own people. That's how I look at it, you know.
Okay.
So
All right.
I think to answer your questions, I think it's more dangerous to be in South Africa than to be outside of South Africa.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I think I need to try. Yeah, maybe I need to try to travel maybe to those parts of the world.
Yeah.
Because the the only time I went out of South Africa it was when I went to Swaziland and Mozambique. So I was like, when I was there, I like, can I go back home now?
Wait, where did you go? Say that again.
I went to Mozambique and Swaziland.
Oh,
Mm.
um,
So yeah,
but I mean, how is it
imagine.
different? It's not that different from South Africa.
What? No, it is like, believe me, it is very different. When you go to Mozambique, the moment you just get out or get off the border gate to Maputo, like you can feel the atmosphere, you can see the buildings, you can tell, hey, I'm in Africa now.
Yeah, yeah, the real
You know?
Africa, yeah.
So yeah, I remember even got lost at some point. We needed directions in Mozambique. And we're busy asking people around, even the traffic officers, trying to speak English. They couldn't understand us. So we always had the idea that people from Mozambique, they know Shangan. You understand? Then we started trying. One of the guys that we were with, they tried to speak Shangan. Like, the people could not even understand Shangan. So the only thing they understood was Portuguese. It was like pure Portuguese, and we didn't know Portuguese.
Yeah. And how
Yeah,
long
it
how long
was.
did you guys stay in Mozambique?
Well, Mozambique, it was like it's around here. We just went in and out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Then
okay.
Swaziland, and also Swaziland. Swaziland was not really bad because they speak Siswati, so we managed to engage with the guides there. But
Yeah,
still, it was in and out. But one thing that I like about traveling to also the neighboring countries, like Swaziland, you get to Swaziland in Mbabane, what you call it, the capital city or town or whatever of
mhm,
Swaziland. Then you look at it, you come back, you look at South Africa. Believe me, you are going to appreciate South
yeah,
Africa. You'll see the beauty. We
yeah,
always complain about potholes, we complain about service delivery and stuff. But the moment you go out to the neighboring countries, you'll be like, okay, now I understand why most of the flocks they come here.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
exactly what
that is the
happened to me
beauty.
after well, when I went to Zimbabwe for the first time. That was my first time
Mm,
being outside the country, and I was what, 21,
yeah,
22 at the time. And it just like opened up my
mm,
eyes to how much we have as South Africans and also just how much we lack. And I'm not talking about like
yeah,
I'm not talking about service delivery. I'm not talking about material things. I'm just talking about that connection. You know, I think
the
that we're starting
connection.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, we're starting to lose that ubuntu that we had as South Africans.
Mm.
Yeah, but I don't mean to compare. I mean, Mozambique and Taiwan. Hey, now.
Yeah, no, Yeah, I've never been to Taiwan. I've never been to Singapore, but the
Yeah.
recent movies that they release, you can tell that that place is way too developed. Like Port, like what was that place? This movie, The Crazy Asians,
The Crazy
Crazy
Rich
Rich Asians.
Asians. I
You know the
love
place
that movie. Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, Singapore is
It's
really beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So I did an
Mm,
interview with a friend of mine who also like visited some Southeast Asian countries, and
mm,
which is something that I picked up as well when I started traveling, is that when you're in South Africa, you think that, oh, like Africa's poor or poor us, we're not doing so well, but then when you get out of the continent, you realize every every continent has the rich side
and
and
the
the poor
former
side.
side.
Yeah.
Mm,
So then, when you see the poor side of the other countries, then you just realize that poverty
mm,
is everywhere. We just thought that it was with us only because we saw it within our vicinity, but then it's kind of everywhere. Also, wealth is
yeah.
everywhere. In the same token. So yeah, those are the
You
things
know,
that
w-
you learn. Yeah.
w- when you say that, normally at church every year, just last year it didn't happen. No, I think it happened earlier. We normally host these guys from America, and sometimes people from church we get an opportunity to go to the US.
Mm,
To those who have planned well financially, they get an opportunity to go to US. When they get there, and people they look at them like, "Oh, guys, where are you coming from? Are you from South Africa? Wow, we thought like you guys do dress skin like animal skins and stuff." They get shocked, you understand?
mm, mm.
Because what they know about Africa in US, it's what they see on TV. The charity, the poverty, and when they come to South Africa, they get shocked. Like, wow, people can use fork and knife here. I'm like, these guys they get shocked. Believe me. I'm like, you guys use fork and knife. I'm like, what are these guys talking about? Because like we live a normal lives. Yeah, understand?
Yeah.
So when they come here, they expect to see a forest, us playing with lions and giraffes around us. Like we don't even some children here they've never seen a giraffe, no a lion.
Now that you mention wild animals, so funny. A friend of mine was dining with a Taiwanese family, and they asked her like, isn't she afraid of lions because the wild animals in South Africa are roaming about
I'm like,
freely, and then we were just thinking, if we were living with lions, we probably wouldn't be alive. We would have been, eaten. It's like
long time ago.
long
Yeah,
time
so
ago, right?
that's what these guys they think about. Like when they think about Africa and South Africa, they expect you to be walking around animals. Like you need to be a Tarzan.
Yeah, but I will tell you this. I will tell you this. We as South Africans as well have our own stereotypes when it comes to the rest of the world. And because I'm here in Asia, I had my own stereotypes when I came here. For
Mm.
example,
Like
from
eating
watching
snakes and frog.
um um yeah, that's not right. We need to stop saying that. I've been seeing a lot of memes and stuff. I'm just like, guys, no, no, they don't eat cats here. Sorry.
Who knows? Maybe you've started already. You're also part of it.
Ah,
Hence, I'm protecting
yes.
it.
Yeah, um wait, what did I want to say? You're distracted. No, I just I
You spoke
just
about
thought
you were talking about stereotypes. Yeah.
sorry, I just thought of this other funny video that my friend sent me about this Chinese person eating with dragon. I don't even know how to translate that
Like
in
really.
English. With dragon. I'm like, ah, guys.
Hey, you never know, eh? You never know. Maybe they eat those mkhodo.
At sige, yeah, Miss Ching, and then with dragon, love.
No mkhodo is nyoka. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yay, yes. Oh yeah, I wanted to say that as much as people have their own stereotypes about Africa, we also have our own stereotypes about certain parts of the world. So from watching
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda and watching all those Japanese movies, I thought that chopstick fights were a regular thing in Asia. And then I get here, and then I have some, Chinese people tell me, "Oh, I cannot use chopsticks." I'm like, don't you guys have chopstick fights? Isn't it like a pre-requirement to being Taiwanese to use a chop? Like,
Mm,
all those things. So I also had, some ridiculous questions, but I
mm,
don't know. I guess I was never really judged, for my ignorance,
yeah.
at least not openly. Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
that.
But I think that's the beauty of traveling. I remember when I was in high school, I was doing tourism. When you do tourism, you get to be taught about other parts of the world and the behaviors, how you talk to them, how you greet, you understand. Like other countries, you shake hands. Other countries, you do that. Other countries, when they give you food, you must not finish. When you finish the food, like disrespecting them. So that's the beauty of having to travel, and it's nice because on your side now you are having a first hand to see directly what's really happening there.
Yeah.
Though I'm still skeptical because on those movies I see them, these guys chopping some snakes and frogs.
I see that, but hey, I'm still alive, so I haven't dived into those cuisines yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, interesting. What did I want to say? How did you get into Bethany Book Club? How did it start? What is it about?
Okay. Bethany Book Club, quite very interesting. Bethany Book Club started in 2018. Um, Personally, I'm a person who loves reading, and I love buying books. I think I love buying books more than reading. Yeah, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us who love buying a lot of books, you know. So I used to go to a shop. When I get to the shop, I'm wanting to buy one book, then I see a sale. I'll end up buying about books of 2,000 rand, come back with a bunch of books back home. And I'm like, oh, the smell of a new book. So 2018, I was attending a prayer camp, which was in KZN at Alpine Health Resort. So it was a global prayer camp through a global business roundtable where we had people from Benin, Brazil, Gabon, Nigeria, Zimbabwe for the networking platform. So there was this other guy from Nigeria. Yeah, from Nigeria. I met them in Johannesburg because we had to exchange transport. So I had to drive with them from Joburg to KZN at the Johannesburg. So he asked me along the way to say, can you please look after my books when you get there? I'm like, okay, no, don't worry, no problem. So it was about 7 days camp. On the first day, he asked me to look after his book. I did. I set up the table, started selling his books. I made a lot of money there. We kept on selling. I also managed to sell the books. I managed to explain books that I did not even read as though I read them. You
Nice.
understand? So it was quite interesting. So on the last day, I told him, okay, since I've been selling your books, and obviously we don't have any agreement that you're paying me. So what I need, all the books that will remain, I want to buy them from you, but on a discount, so that you go back home without any books. I'll take all the books that are remaining, so I can go back and start selling. And the guy was excited to reach a deal, gave him 5,000, came back with 2 paper bags, like full of books. Then I came back around, started selling, and I had an idea of I was calling them, what do you call this thing? Knowledge Investment Mobile Bookshop. Yeah, I was
Nice.
calling it Kim.
Uh,
No, yeah, I was calling it Kim Bookshop, Knowledge Investment Mobile Bookshop. Started selling. Then met with a couple of guys. Then I thought, okay, now I have a lot of people who are reading. So how about we turn this thing? Because like now there's a market. There are people who buy books, then they don't read them. There
Mm,
are people who also read, but they get lazy to finish the books
mm,
because they don't have people to finish the books with.
mm.
Then I did not read. The club was not yet, the club was not formed yet, but it was still a bookshop through the Kim bookshop. So, but it was not yet registered. So going through the registration, then I thought there is a Com Books and it might come as Kim. So I think this might lose an identity. And also looking at me calling it Kim, like knowledge investment mobile bookshop. So it's going to limit it when I call it mobile. You understand? When you look in terms of the future for expansion. So then I met my wife, started dating, and then her name's Enika and Bethuel. Then I thought of her name. Then it was like Bethuel Enika. Then they came together to Bethany. Then we
Oh,
registered the
very
business as
creative.
Bethany Books.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, then we registered as Bethany Books. After registering the Bethany Books, then we thought, okay, now we need to, when you have a business, you need to create a market for the business. And the market that we needed to create, it was through what? Developing the book clubs. Developing the book club was also to ensure that, okay, we have a lot of authors,
Mhm.
self-published authors, but their books, they don't get an opportunity to reach those big bookstores that I may not mention because they don't pay me to advertise them. But
Okay.
you know them, those,
Yes.
yeah, bookshop in our country. So, but like your self-published authors, their books don't get there. So we said, like, okay, let's become the bridge, of the self-published authors, mainly African authors, and with the readers. So then we started having the book, the book club, where we invited authors to come through before COVID-19. We had sessions where the authors will travel, come to us, then we review their books with them. They get to sign and stuff. So it has been amazing. And we have a number of highlights. We have a number of highlights. We have people who came through our club and they were not reading. And today they will tell you, like, yo, we started, now I'm reading 14 books, 10 books. Others, they've established long-term relationships. Others, they got developed in terms of public speaking because through our sessions in person, we give them platforms to say whether you be a program director. Also, what makes our book club unique, through our session in person, we also invite local artists to come through to do poetry,
Mm.
music. We bring that vibe. Those who sell food stalls and stuff like that, they do come through. So then it becomes amazing where you read a book, then you get to interact with the author to say, okay, but here, what were you exactly thinking? We understand. And and through that, we managed to also encourage authors to say, you can sell your book. This is the way you can sell your book. These are the sessions that you can make for yourself. So actually, when you see a number of authors, also them coming out confident, having the boldness to go out there, start selling their books, having people starting their own organizations because they've learned something through our club. We feel honored because this is the purpose that we've achieved, because ours is to make reading and acquiring of knowledge fun and ensure that people, they get to be developed, and also to build lifetime connections and relationships of with what we have achieved.
Mm.
Some of the highlights we hosted even some of the big authors in the country, like the likes of Abu Linda Ntuli, your Hector Motivator. So we're hoping to host the late Dr. Themba, and it's just happened that he passed on
Uh,
this year. May his soul rest in peace. So but it has been amazing. Also got an opportunity to be in a lot of newspapers, to have radio interviews. And one of the biggest highlight was when we got an opportunity to be featured on SABC Morning Live.
nice.
We went
Yeah.
there, we started engaging. So it was like, when you look at something, how it started and how that thing is it's
It's
growing and
going.
how
Yeah.
it's still going to grow.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And now we have our WhatsApp current due to COVID-19 last year when we were on level 5, when everyone was scared. I'm like, oh, what's happening? When you felt like COVID was moving around the atmosphere, you know. So So we started having sessions, like those ones were like every day at 7 p.m. we were having session, different authors and book club members. So we're reviewing books and people were learning, also the spiritual part. A lot of them, they got developed, they became better and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot that I can say with this club. And that's why we started our online book reviews. Also, we have a YouTube channel where we do online reviews as well.
I
So
didn't
yeah.
know about the YouTube channel. Okay. Uh-huh.
Mm. It's there. It's there. It's Bethany. It's Bethany Media. When you click on
Okay.
Bethany Media, the other content, but there's a content of online book reviews. Yeah.
Okay. And you are obviously
How
the
also,
founder of Bethany, all these Bethany multimedia platforms.
yes, it's me and my wife. Then
Okay.
obviously we have a team. We have a team that we are working with,
Okay.
who also help to ensure that sometimes when you establish something, you cannot run it alone. And especially if you want to build something that is long lasting, something that would outlive you, because life is too short.
Yeah.
Yeah, life is too short. So you need
Right.
to have something that you can pass on to
Hmm.
somebody else. So it's through a team, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite a beautiful club. There are times where we actually go out, not just to read, but just to go out, have fun, meet.
Yeah.
I remember last year we went
Socialize.
to
Yeah.
Bronx Strait. Yeah, socialize. Went to Bronx Strait. We're on the boat. We to buy some food, and
Nice.
I lost my voice. I lost my voice. I think my voice was problem. And surprisingly, I don't scream a lot. I don't scream, but then it just happens.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just vanishes like that. But yeah, there's a lot, and we still have plans. Even last year, we had a lot of plans, but due to COVID, that happened. But I think it gave us an opportunity now to, you know, our club was there, but mostly attracted local people within Witbank in Pumalang. But through COVID-19, the online sessions, whenever we say we have a book review and people are checking in, people checking as far as Mozambique, Zimbabwe, like in all the provinces in our country. So we're like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
So and people are becoming regulars on the club.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot, and we're also open to even greater building and stuff, you know. Mm.
As I'm also pursuing my own projects, I I feel successful already because of the people that I'm meeting along the way. I've always known Ubongani, but I just met you because I wrote a book and now I have this podcast thing, and so for me, when I look at it, I am so grateful. Most days of the week. I say most days of the week because other days are very hectic. It's just like, what am I doing? Um, because I feel like there's certain people that I've met, in my hustles that I would have never met any other way. And for me, those connections will probably outlast the projects that I'm running. And for that, I'm grateful. So I think that I've learned to appreciate the journey, and I celebrate small accomplishments. Like you should see my friend when I finally get to have an interview. Like for example, when I finally got to have an interview with you, I was so excited because I would have never ever have that opportunity if I
Mm.
hadn't done certain things in my life.
Mm.
So that has helped me redefine what success is,
Mm.
because the goal obviously was
Yeah.
the goal was to write a book. I wrote a book. I could sell copies. I could sell 1 million copies. I could sell 100. But the impact that that book has made, you know, so far,
Mm.
with the few readers that I have, for me, that's just gonna last a very long time, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm saying that because I'm picking up from what you're saying that you've had these wonderful accomplishments. Of course, you have bigger goals and stuff, but you've had these nice, sweet successes along the way. And I think it's very important not to miss those.
Yeah, that's true. You
Yeah.
really need to celebrate those milestones, because the moment you celebrate those small little victories, it gives you confidence to say,
Mm.
you can actually achieve more. It's like prayer. When you
Mm.
pray, uh, obviously you need to acknowledge God and thank God for the things that He has done what in your life.
Yeah.
And by doing so, it gives you confidence to say, whatever that I'm about to ask, surely I'm going to receive it. So it's the
Yeah.
same way when you celebrate the small victories, it gives you a light to say, there's a greater light, there's a greater things which are still to come. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so and
Yeah.
I still have to read your book. Yeah, I still have to read your book.
Oh, yeah. The copies are out, by the way. Okay, fine. I'll send it to you. We'll talk about that
Mm,
later. How about you? Have you written anything?
okay.
Have you written any books?
Well, I've been encouraged to write. Yeah, people say I have a story that I can share, but I've co-authored a book. I
Mm,
co-authored a book with Benedict Matlango and this other guy, Shongwe from KZN.
mm,
The book is titled The Chronicles of a Broken Man.
mm,
Chronicles of a Broken Man. So there we are looking different perspective, a perspective from a young man and a perspective from an older man.
mm.
We will define what is brokenness, how does it affect men and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've actually wrote. Mm.
And
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 that book I actually show my story.
and I don't know if this happens with you, but what has happened with me with the Amhara and the Big Fat Man is I produced a book and then I also learned from the book, because as I was talking in the book
Yeah.
club, as I was talking about the Amhara, I'm like, I just learned something new. Shouldn't I have known this, prior to writing the book or in the process of writing and publishing? But that is honestly not the
Mhm.
case. So do you find
Mm.
yourself in a similar situation with the book that you co-authored?
Yeah, it's always like that. When I go back to read the book, I'm like always like, oh, firstly, I'm like thinking this guy survived, eh?
Mm,
At a young
mm,
age, he survived a
mm.
lot. So I always learn. Whenever I go back to read that book, I'm always learning something new. Also I think also it goes with there's this thing that I learned when I was still at varsity, that you interpret something based on the knowledge that you have. So
Yes.
the more you grow, you get to be exposed to new perspective. So whenever you go back to read
Yeah.
something, you're no longer just reading it based on what you've just reading, but also you
Sure.
just make interpretation based on the new perspective that you've consumed and received.
Hmm.
So that's one of the things that actually impact the newness, freshness whenever I read the book
Yeah.
that I authored. Just gonna ask you a
Okay.
question.
Yes.
Um, What- Um, when you're dealing with, like, you wrote your book, then someone did what you call did the editing, right?
Yes.
Okay, what, like, sometimes it happens that when you write and you give someone to edit your book, the person removes your voice.
Oh,
Did the person?
yes. So I carefully selected the people that were allowed to edit the book. And I also had some few
Mhm.
authors, but I knew that, no, not authors. I had some like offers, but I knew that, the other authors have such a dominant um, personality that, they would have wanted to change that. So the people that I asked were, what we did was I said, I cannot leave the book here with you. We're just going to sit together and do it together. So we dedicated that
Yeah,
day to editing the book. Because another thing that happens is, say you give somebody 1 week to edit your book, they feel a certain way on Monday, on Thursday they feel a certain way, and then it's all different. The mood and the feeling is all different and stuff. um yeah. And
yeah.
also, I had to continue editing. I don't know, like, I feel like the editing part does not really end.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I got to
It
a
doesn't
point
end
where,
because
yeah, yeah, I got to a point where I was like, I've fixed as much as I can fix. People have helped me fix as much as we can fix. I'm gonna allow this book to be imperfect. Done my best.
yeah.
I'm just gonna allow it to be imperfect because I felt like trying to reach for
Oh,
clear perfection was gonna take too long. And this is a learned.
oh,
This is a huge milestone for me. because I
Yeah.
don't, if you could ask my friend, I have a friend of mine that I was sending my little stories to. If you could ask him, he saw this day coming. I did not. I was just like, I wrote this. I felt like writing. I wrote this, just read it. It's whatever. But I never
Oh,
thought that I would let anybody else read what I wrote, what I write, what I wrote.
okay.
So yeah. I think it's very important that
So,
you select an
so on your book,
editor. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, you go.
yeah. I mean, like, so, you still have your voice in the book, right?
Yes, I still have my voice,
That's
and when I get offers to change certain things, then I have to say no. And it's not easy.
mm,
It's honestly
yeah. It's not
not easy saying no. Yeah.
because of sort of that. Normally, it happens. It
Mhm.
happens. Sometimes you know the author personally. You know, then you have to write what you call. Um,
Hey, come back. You just disappeared. Oh, there we go.
here. Yeah. So you know an author personally, you know their personality. Then when you start reading their books and you find out no, it does not go with their personality. But there's this one author that I know, Mam Nom book. She wrote the book. Um, the book is an entrepreneur working with a drive. When you read the book, you can hear literally her voice
Mhm, mhm.
from the book. So like,
Yeah.
the person who did the editing did a wonderful job, because sometimes editors, they remove your voice and like, oh, this is not Bethuel anymore talking here.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't it also depend on whether the book is fiction or nonfiction?
Yes, yeah, it depends. It depends. I
Yeah,
think in
because
fiction, then obviously the voice will change a little bit. But if it's a memoir or autobiography, then the voice must not really change.
yeah,
I must
yeah,
still, I must still feel okay. This is Palisa. This is
yeah.
Palisa talking.
Hmm.
Yeah, but are
Okay.
you looking forward to write another book anytime soon?
Um, I have to. I have to. It has become a necessity for me to keep writing, and I'm not just writing
Okay.
to publish. I'm writing for survival, for emotional well-being. Because
Okay.
I say
Nice.
that because I think this is gonna sound bad, but I think like my characters visit me, my stories haunt me. That if I don't put it down, then they stay there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like for example, if you get an idea, right? Like you've probably had multiple ideas. You get an idea
Oh,
and you ignore it, and then it comes back and it haunts you, and then eventually that voice dies down. But then when that voice dies down, then it's just kind of like it's like you've lost somebody. It's like here's an idea that I could have, pursued, but I did not, and then that's a loss. And if you lose it, then you lose it forever. You know?
mm,
Yeah. So I think that I've also lost. There's this one story that I spent some time writing, and then I wrote it on a work computer. But I was about to leave the job anyway, so I wrote it on the work computer, and then I forgot to save it on like my
oh,
personal computer. So then I took the laptop and gave it to, another, it was going to be given to a new colleague at work. So they gave it to the
oh,
colleague at work, and I was so busy with my life then. And the colleague took it home. They, burglars came, and, the computer was stolen and stuff. And then there goes my story. And
oh,
so,
so
yeah, something like that. I know it was a little bit reckless for me and stuff, but also like, why are people thieving? That's a story for another day. So then
yeah, it's going to put it like
that for
yeah.
me felt like I lost a part of me that I'll probably never get back.
Oh,
And
gosh.
and I almost compared it to losing a baby, but I know some parents are gonna hit me in the face because it's not the same, really. It's like no, losing a story and losing a child are two different things. I get it.
It happens. It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts.
Uh,
Yeah.
speaking about that, and there was a year. We were growing up. We used to have a dog. So this,
Mhm.
this little, small, tiny, skinny dogs. So we used to have that dog. So one day, guys from SPCA, they came, they said they're going to check the dog and stuff. They took it. And I told my mom, I was young, like, hey, don't give these people this dog because this dog is not going to come back once it leaves. And she said, no, Bani, they'll bring it back and stuff. I get, okay, it's fine, but give them. The guys came back without a dog, saying the dog was pregnant, it died. My mom like it was like heartbroken. She went to Nursepray, a Kaigibo to her parents. They say she was crying day and night for 3 days.
Oh, for poor dog.
So
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even whenever she talks about the dog now, it's like, hey, yeah, she loved the dog. So
yeah.
yeah, it may not be a human, but it's a dog.
Yeah,
It's
you feel
still
the
the
loss.
love,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I'm
still
glad
the
you said that.
love.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Thank you. So yeah, I think writing has brought like a lot of um peace and emotional,
Yeah.
like an outlet for my emotions. Not that all I'm, hey, come back, you just disappeared again.
Mm. Came back.
Okay. Not that
Yeah.
all I'm doing is venting and stuff, but then, I don't know how to
Mm.
describe it, but okay, so you are getting the book. You will see when you read, for example, The Cave Girl, right? So, because that's
Okay.
the prologue. When you read The Cave Girl, that came from a very emotional moment, but I don't put all my emotions
Okay.
into it. But yeah, I write a lot. Sometimes I'm not writing on paper, I'm just writing in my mind. I write a lot. The one thing that I just have to do is make
Okay.
sure that I improve my vocabulary, because wow, it's so limited.
No, but no, the more you write and you are a teacher as well. So must be easy, ne? Must come easy. Must be coming easy. Man.
No, no.
So you always say writer's block.
No,
Mm,
it's actually harder because you're like, okay, what if the parents of the kids that I'm teaching read the book and they find an error? Then they're gonna lose confidence in me.
yeah, and you're in another country. Like,
Exactly.
oh, you guys are breaking people are incompetent. Take them back.
Exactly.
Let's go
No,
back.
but
But like, mm,
yeah,
are
you
you
go.
able to speak these Chinese now or
Just a little
Taiwan
bit.
stuff like
Yeah.
that?
I took a course for 3 months and I learned a little bit, just a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah. But what I like about it is
Nice.
that the locals, well, at least the locals that I've spoken to kind of appreciate the little bit that I know. So I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And how about you? Are you
it's like
Zulu,
like
Swati? People in Pumalanga, what are you, Valley? Like in Joburg, we know that we are a stew or a mixture of everything. But in Pumalanga, what
yeah.
are you
No,
guys?
we are stew as well. Okay, in Pumalanga, there are different parts. There are different parts. If you go to the Lawfeld parts, your Bushbuck has a view and stuff. It's they speak Tsonga, Shangan.
Okay.
When you move a bit up to Nelspruit and some part of Hazelview, then they speak Swati. When you move a bit up, you go to another part of the Highveld side. Highveld side, you will then find people speak Spedi. We have Pedi people in there in
Really?
Pumalanga. You also have Pedi. There's a part. It's a what do you call this place? Bethuel, it's in Pumalanga. There's places around here with Bethuel, stuff things in Pumalanga.
Mm.
Yeah, they speak Sepedi. You go to Middleburg, in Witbank, people start speaking Sindrebele because these are Ndebele people that side. So we are a mixture. Then we have Xhosas, some other parts. We have Zulus.
Ati,
When you
hey.
go to Betha, yeah. When you go to Bethel, when you go to the side of Bethel, and yeah, Bethel and MLO, they start speaking isiZulu, but it's not 100% Zulu. But yeah, you can feel that they are speaking Zulu like Caroline. So there's a
Yeah.
mixture of everything. Depends which region are you at.
I wonder.
So me, I am, what am I then, guys? I'm confused.
You are a
Well,
human.
I'm a human. So apparently my parents told me, I'm not sure about that, but they told me, they told me that I'm a Brandani, I'm a Brandani. Mnyasa. Well, Amanyasa, they are people who originate from the British Empire in Malawi. Yeah,
Nice.
they're from, yeah, Manyasa, they are from Malawi. So meaning that my forefathers from my father's side, they are from Malawi. But if you come to say in Pumalanga, people from Mbebe, there are people by Mbebe who are Swati, and there's a huge number of Mbebe people in the State Cape, who they say they are closest. So it's up to me to decide
And what have you
where I can.
decided?
No, I think I'll go with this part two of my parents when they tell me that no, when they're from Malawi, Umnyas. So yeah,
You like that part better.
yeah, Brandani, Umnyas.
Okay. Have you been to God's Window in Pumalanga? I haven't been. Have you been?
No, I
We
think I
need to
still need to
go.
go there. I need to
We
go there.
do. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I need to go.
Apparent. I saw some pictures. It's incredible. We need to go there and check it out.
It's incredible. Yeah, when you come to South Africa, let me we'll go together. It's a beauty. I think I remember I did it when we did tourism. When I did tourism in school, high school. Yeah, we learned a lot about God's window. The only place that I went to it was Sudola Caves.
I've never heard of that place.
You've never heard about it? Google it. You'll see Sudola Caves. It's quite
Okay.
nice. It has a history as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it has history. Say back in the days, there was a war between the British and the Swati people. So the Swati people, they were running away, so they went inside the caves. So nice, Sutwala Caves. It's quite beautiful, and it's also a place for a lot of butterflies. It's nice. You'll enjoy it. Also, the landscape, it's refreshing.